All right.
Welcome back to the Captain's Table question and answer session with HCVertigo and Naz. We were just talking about watching professionals in their field, be it video games or tabletop, just get absolutely schooled by dumb. What's the old term there? HCVertigo, nature always makes it makes a better.
It's a race between engineers in the universe.
Yeah,
the engineers are trying to design the bigger and better idiot-proof machines, and the universe is trying to design bigger and better idiots. So far, the universe is winning.
Yeah. The universe always manages to build a better idiot. Never underestimate the universe's ability to design a better idiot.
Something like that.
So this is where we take questions and answers from the chat themselves. But if you missed the last episode, and you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this on the podcast, if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be on the top right or just above HCVertigo's head there. To click that link and go there. And if you're listening to the podcast, it'll be the previous episode. Go listen to that. We talked about 317. We talked about expectations for salvage and more. So let's talk today about the questions. Let's take the questions. Let me pull that up and get this started properly.
Yeah, do your job.
Do your job. Thanks, Naz. Thanks. First question is from Anno 2122, who asks, "What is your favorite part of 317?"
I like the thighs. That's my favorite part. 317's thighs are pretty juicy.
Selling, because I'm a loot goblin. I'm just like I hoover loot up, and so the idea that I can sell it even for pennies, I'm like, don't touch my trash. Don't touch
my trash. I'm looking forward to that stuff too. I honestly, I'm looking forward to like. This is kind of a weird thing, but this is kind of like a CIG removing stuff from the stores actually kind of helps my ideal of being an arms dealer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because now I could show up to I could like, hey, anybody want to buy a grenade launcher? And like people are like, well, we can't buy that. So sure, I'll buy a couple grenade launchers from you. Like here's a pile of grenade launchers. Get off my ship.
You and
where's the ammo? Yeah, we don't deal in ammo here. Just guns. Just guns. Ammo's your problem.
The only place to get ammo is down that hole.
Yeah. What about you, Ness? What are you looking for? Your favorite part?
I'm gonna annoy people who watch like different shows and probably in the comments. I'm changing my answer from the DNA system because I just remembered.
Yeah.
And there it goes again. What was it?
That's not a bit important. You forgot it.
The desync thing.
Oh, the
desync thing will help in Star Marine. Which is the use case that was leaked. Somebody peeking around a door in Star Marine.
There you
go. So yeah, that will be like that will change the game the most for me. I still need to get I need to pay someone to sit next to me and build my character for me because I want my character to look like me. And looking at the camera on stream, I'm trying to stare into the camera and then watch my feed to match up my face and my character's face. It never works out. I got it pretty close this last time. I could see me in the character, but yeah,
I haven't bothered with that in a while because every time I try to do it, it gets wiped every 5 minutes or whatever, or some bug happens and you have to completely destroy it.
Yeah, you end up 3 loads later, not ahead, and you have to reset your character.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Next question comes from Anno 2122, who asks, "What do you think is the April 1st joke for Star Citizen this year?"
Ooh. I don't know. It could be they could do something with the Argo because the Argo was the meme. Meme ship of Best in Show. That's still kind of fresh in everyone's mind.
Make people hate them again.
Well, there's been the Drake Mule leak.
Yeah, we heard the Drake Mule.
So they could just talk about the Drake Mule, and the Drake Mule could be the April 1st joke.
Literally like a creature. Literally like a mule.
Last year, wasn't the 404 last year?
Yeah, the 404 was last year.
Yeah, so it would make sense that would be the Drake Mule because it was the 400i last time.
Yeah,
turned into the 404.
404i. Actually, let me actually you there.
Actually,
so the Drake drug mule.
Yeah, the mule.
It'd be an actual mule with a gun on top of it.
Yeah.
It'd be a mule. You have like a gun mount to the top of it. You'll have like
yeah.
little saddlebags with drugs filled with drugs.
And you
Well,
jump
you
on
have to
top
put
of
the
it.
feet-
You jump on top of it. And it's really jank. Is it just like default move? You know, like the default mule from from CryEngine, and it's just guns strapped to the side.
CryEngine mule dot DLL.
Yeah.
the Drake llama.
Yes. All right. Next question comes from Hydrolux 6557, who asks, "What are your thoughts on the dev?" Yes. Oh, okay, never mind.
I don't have problems with dev.
Okay,
the dev.
He fixed it later. What are your thoughts on the dev's concept of rarity, i.e., rare items are the most difficult to find?
Do you have a different definition of rarity?
I mean, unless you like My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. I mean, that could be. I mean, you got the bronies out there probably watching us. I hear it's kind of popular still.
I am going to insert a thing.
Careful, Paul. You work as a school teacher. You got to be careful what you put in things you put into things.
Yes.
Your students.
This actually has to do. I'm going to put my economics teacher's hat on and say rarity. Okay. Rarity is not what you think it is, because there's a difference between rarity and scarcity.
Yes.
They're not the same thing. They think they're the same. Most rare things are scarce, but not all scarce things are rare. Great example of this is PS5s. PS5s are very difficult to acquire, but they're not rare. They're just scarce. Like PS5s are just made up of a bunch of things that you could purchase and technically probably build yourself that are very common. It's just
hey Paul, yeah. How are you and Adams alike? They make up everything.
I'm not making it up. I'm serious. Look it up.
I agree with it completely.
There's a difference between scarcity and rarity.
And a coin.
And it's important to remember those two. So like when you're talking when we're talking about Star Citizen, like we're dealing with things like the idea of having no LMGs, no snipers, no heavy weapons, and only like size ones and ×1 ×2 scopes being available. The rest of those not even being able to purchase. It's also important to remember that guns can be common and be scarce depending on where you are. And I think that's something that you're going to have to deal with in the long term as well.
Don't make me get my dictionary, Paul.
What?
Do it.
Things can be common and scarce.
Do it.
Merriam-Webster Colgate Dictionary, 11th edition.
Look up scarce.
Go look at the new one and go look up literally.
Scarce. Let's see.
There's a new definition of literally. While he's looking up that, the devs actually did say, like, what is rare, or a more accurate according to Paul, and I frankly agree, more scarce in Stanton is not going to be the same scarcity in Pyro.
Well, so I think what Paul's trying to say is you can have something that's common throughout the Empire, but scarce in a certain location, like
exactly.
Stanton.
Right.
Yes.
So the example I like to use is a Gemini gun. If you are in the home system of Gemini weapons, it is pretty darn easy to get a Gemini gun.
The home system of Gemini weapons is Stanton.
Great, I didn't know that. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
So going to Pyro, where you have to import literally everything, what are the odds that they'd be importing specifically Gemini guns? Everyone has their preference, so it's probably a lot lower because you have your Baron guns, you have your Gemini guns, your Kaztec guns. Like everyone has their preference, so the scarcity is going to go way up with everyone importing only what they want into Pyro.
Inventory goes down, prices go up. Yeah, supply and demand. We're describing supply and demand now.
Yes,
I mean that's the game. That is Star Citizen.
But it's important to point that out because a lot of people don't realize that Star Citizen's
here's my take on.
Game. Go ahead.
Like, why are common items being taken from the item pool to be put into loot boxes?
Yet.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. It's eventually I theorized years ago that we would go the MMO route of having different tiers of items, where you'd have a common a white class of P4AR that was like vendor trash essentially. And then you had the green quality, blue quality of kind of like how Diablo does it, or Torchlight, or Borderlands, where you have different colors of guns of rarity, and then you have like the oranges, the legendary items, and stuff like that.
I think they're gonna do that, except do it dynamically, based on production and.
Basically, you can have a better
want.
P4 AR than your standard P4 AR that you should buy from a store out in the wild somewhere. A customized P4 AR that does something better. It reloads faster because it has a better magazine well or something.
Yeah, because someone modified it themselves so they can get it right. That kind of thing. Yeah, the whole tweak and stuff like that.
Function and color.
I think, but when it comes to actually CIG's discussion on that, I think CIG needs to keep that in mind when they're dealing with it. And what they're going to be doing with 317 is entirely just alpha testing. It's placeholder. Yeah.
They want to use. They're itching. My guess is they're chomping at the bit to test out this new loot system they got.
Yeah.
And they want to get our feedback. They want to test for bugs. And how do they get the player base to actually do testing? You work the levers of the machine that is the game Star Citizen to guide people towards the loop you want testing. And we saw this with like bounty hunting when CIG first started having bounty hunting stuff coming into the game. Bounty hunting suddenly started paying really well. So because they wanted to guide people that direction.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we have 31 questions, so I think that was good enough.
More questions.
Yes, I paused the questions because we had 30 questions.
Oh, come on. People want to know.
What happens when you kickflip over a Boreal Stalker while using Tony Hawk's hoverboard?
You die.
You get the credits for Star Citizen start rolling.
Yes.
You win Star Citizen.
You win Star Citizen.
You didn't think. You thought Star Citizen was an open universe sandbox MMO. And you thought Chris Roberts told you there is no way to win Star Citizen, but there is one victory condition, and that is it.
Yes. The whole game stops. Like, the game ends. No one can play the game
anymore. Everybody who's playing Star Citizen, everybody who's logged in, even if they're only logged into launcher, the credits start rolling.
Yeah.
Everything fades to black and the credits roll.
That's some Ready Player One crap.
All right. Outlaw Night Zero asks, like the coffee vendor is a reskin of the bartender, do you see any applications for one AI that can be used for another? I think he's talking about like other AIs that it could be used for reskins.
So far we have like the bartender, we have the admin guy, but they turned him off a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that we finally have women working in Star Citizen. We actually have the barista is now a woman.
Okay.
It's a woman. I'm like, great idea.
I would like to go on
to a woman and have her do a job.
I would like to go on a small rant.
And
this rant has been bugging me for the past. How long has it been since Microtech was introduced?
A year, I think, because it started at the beginning of last year or the end of.
I thought it was 2 years.
It may have been the end of 2020, but
Anyway, so two things. One, the original concept of the informational AI was wearing a dress. We still have no dresses in the game.
Yes.
Buster would definitely agree with that. She wants better female clothing.
I've talked to her about this on stream. Two, who on earth had in their right mind designed factory line with glass floors on a second story?
The same.
I mean, have you gone inside the 600i?
The upskirt window?
The upskirt window, like literally it's a 2-story ship. There's literally a window right by the bar where you would be standing in a skirt to drink.
Why are they so bad at this? Like, are they subtly telling us, hey, we're not ever putting in skirts or dresses? Is that what that is?
Honestly, I think they're a little concerned because, like, I think most people, if you said, hey, put in skirts and dresses, people would be like, well, just make it for male and female. Just let people wear what they want to. Kilts are a thing,
Or cross-dressing.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Let people wear what they want to wear. Like, and I think CIG is more like concerned about that because they may alienate some of their players if people are playing. Because remember, this is the same community that complains that when anything pink comes into the game, that it's not realistic. They don't want to have pink.
But they also have the community that sees a new ship and like, I want that in Star Kitten now.
Yeah, well, that's because there's two sides to that community. Like everyone wants the Star community because there's some people who are. That's not just how big the Star Citizen community is. They have every single angle on every single problem. Yes,
like I'm sure there is every single gender wanting every single option, like either don't or do on every single clothing option.
So
give those recently employed artists something to do instead of making really crappy guns for subflare.
And that actually ties into the
Fight me on that one. I swear I will die on that hill. Those salvo frag pistols are just the hideous.
Yeah. Ugly.
And that kind of ties back into the removing of the weapons. Like, there's not enough shops in the game.
No.
There is original concept art for ArtCorp that has a furniture store.
Yeah.
And I will die on that hill because there's a furniture store.
When we get hab persistence, I'm sure Chris Roberts will be selling you hab stuff. Hanger flares went away with hangers, but I have a crap ton of hanger flare. I got a lamp, a cot, a workbench. I got posters. I got stuff, wall decorations. I want a hanger so I can decorate it and show people like cool stuff.
I would like to remind people that this question was about what other AIs could we copy.
I blame this guy.
I thought that
like, Paul, you need to rein this guy in. Put your lasso out, Mr. Texan, and pull this guy back into the pen with the rest of us.
Other AI pilots?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that we really have any. Like the bartender was really the first.
It was the most universal.
Yeah.
Well, we had like the shopkeepers don't do anything.
Yeah.
Nope.
Which is what I thought the next AI, the next iteration past bartending was. You walk up to a shop dealer. What do you got behind the counter? And then you have that scene from Terminator where he's like, "Where you got all these guns? I'll take the Uzi 9mm.
Yeah.
Where you got
a long slide.
This is the stock we have. No, I want your special guns.
Yeah.
This is all the stock we have. Zucchini. Ah, yes, come back here. Yes.
Yeah. That's supposed to be the bartender AI though. Like that's supposed to be like the kind of thing the bartender AI is supposed to be able to do, but like they haven't put it on there. So
that's why I'm disappointed by the barista. It's just like I thought like we're just literally just a copy paste of the bartender AI and just giving you stuff you could literally just buy off the shelf, like right in front of the barista if you wanted to.
But the entire
point need to interact with the AI to purchase the stuff the barista's giving you.
The entire point was to train an intern.
Yeah, I understand that, but as a customer who's paying bills for CIG, can we work on others? Can we move the needle a little bit? So, CIG forward?
Would you rather them just not talked about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I'd rather the barista never been put in the game.
I totally understand. Totally get it.
We actually talked about this before. I think before you were on, Naz, or you were muted. Like one of the things, the thing about like, and this is kind of on that AI discussion, is like, as Vertigo pointed out, and I think I agree with him, instead of having a barista, I would have rather had vending machines.
Yeah.
Same concept, same. You'd have the similar teams working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They already have AI, like AI are going to be fucking with vending machines to the point where they're going to be trying to steal stuff from vending machines. It's in the month reports. That they want to try to, they're going to have that behavior. So it's like, why can't I just push a button and get a can that rolls out? Like that would people wouldn't have shit on it as much if it was a vending machine, because people would have been like, oh, finally the vending machines work, but like they would have memed on it a little bit because like, hey,
I understand some people are probably going to like Vertigo. You're being upset, unnecessarily mean over this, but as a customer of CIG, as someone who gives them money to push the needle forward, that is the release date of Squadron 42 and Star Citizen, like the bartender AI, barista AI feels like you're just making smoke.
Yeah, that's
all it feels like you're doing. Your wheels are spinning. You're not making any actual progress.
Yeah.
Cool, looks cool. Like great, that's great. You're training new people. That's great. But where's salvaging? Where's the stuff I want? Right?
Yeah.
So
I kind of like a two-pronged thing, like that really goes along with that is the One River by an engineer and the coffee vendor. They need to start treating Star Citizen. One, they need to pass everything through a marketing team.
I'm not super upset by the river. Like the planets need river. Okay, planets will we have them in real life.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know the various rivers.
A lot of
need to add
people
to Star
got
Citizen.
upset.
That is something that moves the needle forward. It's a baby step, but it is a step in the right direction. The barista doesn't feel like a step forward. It feels like a step to the side, which. Okay, that's great. We're going to have AI baristas that do almost nothing to the verse except add another contrivance to have to wade through while you're walking to your ship through ArtCorp.
I bet people would like it more if it was pizza.
Nah. Pizza would be nice in Star Citizen. Hey, Paul, did you find a pizza today recently?
I didn't find it. One of my viewers found it, and I'm trying to figure out. He hasn't told me where he found it, but there is a pizza you can get. I think it's a delivery.
Yeah, no, it's a mission. It's a box mission. I've done them. It's deliver pizza box mission. It's not interesting.
It's pizza, but
it's a flat box.
Anyways, next question.
Let's move on. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Carrick versus BMN for exploration. Why would you use a BMN exploration? I mean, I guess you could, but like, Carrick is designed to. Yeah,
the purposely designed by Anvil and the Navy.
I mean, it depends. If you're exploring an area that's you're expecting to meet people in the other systems, you can.
If you're exploring Banu space, yes, bring in a BMM.
But a Banu mission is like a flying bazaar. It's like a flying shop. It'd be like,
it's got tons of inventory space. It's long range. They've told us on the Odyssey Q&A that ships will be able to explore that even don't have exploration specific equipment.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can go somewhere and say, "There's a rock. Hey, there's a rock over there." That's exploration.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's kind of like saying I can technically explore the Arctic with a cargo vessel, but I'd rather have an icebreaker ship that's designed to explore the Arctic. Like, technically, you could do that, but why?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's what you got, it's what you got. But
and if you go during the right season, like the ice isn't going to be that big a deal, I guess. But
why? Like why not just bring the ship that has all of the material that's already on board, designed
built
to
for
explore,
exploration,
built for exploration, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, you can, but I think I'd rather choose a Carrick over a Banu Merchantman for that. So,
and Odyssey over a Carrick.
I disagree. But that's a complete.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
We respect your right to be wrong.
Wrong.
We respect your ability to have wrong opinions on this podcast, Nazeris.
Okay, that's fine. I just like Misk.
Tree and I both have the same conversation about regen. So ask if you want a long conversation. Ask Tree in Pathfinders about should the tier 2 beds have regen. He has a thesis about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I might have to do that.
The architect asks, do you think CIG will implement durability soon?
We technically have wear and tear already.
Yeah,
on our ship components. It's just tuned so low you don't even notice it.
Except
back
for
at like
your
3.2.
Except for your canopy.
Oh yeah, the aero canopy. I love that.
So there are some canopies that when they have wear and tear, they become basically you can't see through them because they're so damaged. So
the arrow is one of them.
Yeah,
you fly an arrow around for an hour or two, and then you go to get a repair, and it's like suddenly, I can see now.
Yeah. So like they're really, really tiered in weird things. So yeah, so technically I think the question is more, will we impact durability for like specific
weapons? Well, wear and tear is supposed to affect everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your armor, your undersuit, your weapons, FPS gear I'm talking about here. And then your ship, of course, will also wear out. They already have hull degradation. The longer your ship stays on the verse, the dirtier the ship gets.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I cannot wait for territorial gameplay.
I think they want to have environments leave an impact on ships. If you park your ship in a sandy, dusty area, your ship will get sandier and dustier, and then you take off. That'll stick with the ship.
It already does. If you're in the ships right now, if you put in a sandy environment, you'll see like your paint gets blown off. So like there's steel and other kind of things underneath the paint skin, the skin. And then if you go get repaired, it returns it.
So what you're saying is you can return the Misk ships back to their old chrome if you just go park on Daymar.
Yes.
Just go park on Daymar.
Okay.
Nice little sandblasting.
Nice. Yeah, I do think like that is something that we're probably actually really close to, with all the like tweaking of food to make it more of a thing, tweaking fuel to make it more of a thing. It would make sense to turn on weapons and components like just noping out, so you have to go interact more with the systems to go get a new one.
I think that's probably going to be after engineering gameplay and definitely after persistence, which are both here.
Well, you could just make them die instead of need repairs.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll do that. I think we'll likely see something like that next year, but probably not this year. So we're close in the sense that, it's not. It's foreseeable. It's not heat death of the universe, but it's still at least a year away for something like that. So So soon TM, I would say.
Yes,
for durability.
I agree.
Del Ener asks, since 317 is right around the corner, it is time to speculate. What do you all think will make it into 318? I'm going to be a negative Nelly and say nothing that's on the roadmap. I expect everything that's on the 318 roadmap right now to be moved to the next patch, and maybe some of the spots that were supposed to be in 317 which don't quite make it, or I guess most of it is.
I think the ships are definitely going to make it.
There's only one
ships
ship.
are almost never get pushed back.
Yeah,
we're talking about 18, right?
318.
Yeah, so there's only one ship.
Which is the Vulture. But the Vulture is tied to salvaging.
Yes, and if salvage gets...
They've released so many dead ships. They keep saying, no, we're not going to release any more dead ships.
Actually, I just went to look at 318. 318 has 4 entries on it. So, Paul, after refreshing my memory, I almost agree with you now. It's going to be, in my mind, it's going to be a coin toss between salvaging and the cargo refactor. And I think the cargo refactor is going to make it.
Yes.
But
there's more of a chance
I'm only 35% certain that anything will make it.
Yeah.
So I'm confident. What little confidence I have, I think the cargo refactor is going to make it, but I think 318 is going to look completely different because there's not much there. I mean, they have the Grey Cat salvage multi-tool attachment, but that's tied to salvage, and if salvage gets pushed back, that's gone.
Yeah,
the Vulture is tied to salvaging. If the salvaging gets pushed back, the Vulture's gone. So what they have left, the cargo system refactor, but the cargo system refactor touches a lot of ships and a lot of stuff. That is a massive overhaul of how cargo works in Star Citizen.
I mean, they've also been doing it for over a year.
What, pushing stuff back off the road?
Yeah, that's true, yeah. But no, the cargo refactor.
The cargo refactor.
For over a year.
It's been
started back when they announced the last time we saw the Hull C being done. Squadron 42 complete. Chris started coding the cargo refactor
back in 2020. Yeah, it's been 2 years.
I'm going to take the opposite approach to both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Salvage, I couldn't care less. That's off the roadmap. Same.
Mm-hmm.
I think salvage is going to make it, and on top of that, server meshing.
You think server meshing is coming in 318?
Yes.
We would see more about
that's
server
in July.
meshing.
Yes.
Okay. That's a bold statement.
CIG would really be tooting their horn if server meshing was that close to release.
Yep.
You'd see like specials on Inside Star Citizen.
They don't want to talk about
it. They're not talking about it.
I think what Naz is saying is that they're not talking about it because it's so close, and once they have it locked down and confirmed, they'll start talking about it. But because they're not talking about it at all, means that they're heads down on it rather than being.
Well, here's the problem. Like that was how Chris Roberts operated previously. He liked the showmanship, the circus that was CitizenCon of showing people in the wow factor, standing on stage and be like, "Hey, everybody, look at this cool thing we got," and people go, "Oh, that's really cool, Chris Roberts." But we had Disky Orlando show up on this very show and talk to us about how inside Star Citizen, how he was pretty much give carte blanche to show whatever they had. Mm-hmm. Like they had a choice between holding stuff back or just having stuff for inside Star Citizen, and they chose to just inside Star Citizen is the focus now. They don't hold back anything on inside Star. So if they have something to show, it shows up on inside Star Citizen. Like salvaging, for example, they could have held that back till CitizenCon. That little last Inside Star Citizen where we had the whole stripping effect, that could have just not shown up at all until CitizenCon. Like, hey, everybody, look, salvaging. Here's how far we are. So I don't think we're anywhere near server meshing, the fact that CIG is not talking about it, with what I know, with Disco Orlando has said recently.
Okay, I will say one thing that I think is going to make it. I think they will have persistence. I don't think anything in 318 right now is going to make it. I think it'll all get pushed. I think that everything in 318 will make it in 319 or 320, but I think they will have persistence, and they'll announce it in the next two or 3 weeks, probably once they first get back from the break after 317 is released, where they'll say that they have persistence and they'll say it in the same way of saying that the shards are online. They'll have sharding working for 318. Because that's what they said. They effectively said that persistence would mean that they have shards, that the replication layer is working, and that all of those pieces are in place. And
basically everything, like my entire not expectation. What would you even call it? wild pipe dream of server meshing being not at the end of the year is hinging on Wednesday and what happens Wednesday.
Why? Why Wednesday?
A roadmap update.
Oh, the roadmap update. Yeah. We'll see.
That is when we start getting the reactionary teams, the downstream teams being added.
Yeah.
And if there is any more work to do in this version that we're leading up to, so static server meshing or whatever they want to actually call this version of server meshing, there will need to be other teams working on it. Mm-hmm. Whatever teams it is. But every team so far that has something to do, vehicle teams, the ATC refactor, cargo refactors, everything so far is done. That is an external team to the network team.
All right. It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for you. Jin, I see that. If Salvage is pushed out to 318, Jin will sponsor a starter package for a giveaway. I thank you, Jin. Again
make it a reclaimer.
As I've said many times before, I think Salvage is in a good place and it will be in the game this year. I just don't expect it for 318 because something always comes up, and it's not just something like as a problem. It's like Jim has a daughter and she is going, her and her school, she's part of some like the concert for her high school. Like she's part of like the concert team and they're going off and competing at some national level somewhere in the UK. And so Jim has got to go to see his daughter perform at a national like tournament, so Jim's going to be gone for a week, but Jim is that bus guy who's like, he does that one thing that will fix all the stuff for salvaging. And he's just gone. He's the producer who's just going to be gone. So nothing's going to get done that week. And because he was gone, that shifts everything a week. And that week just makes it just not quite line up with 318. And they'd rather not do it in 318.x. So they'll just push it to CitizenCon because it'll be cooler to announce it like that. That's what I mean.
Also, remember, they will not be announcing 4.0.
No.
Ever. Until after we get to the patch. After we've already had the patch and it's behind us, and we're looking towards the next patch, the last one will be called 4.0.
Yes. They will not call it 4.0. So if we get a 319 patch, that could be 4.0 if they add server meshing.
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 50, 50,000. We don't know.
Whatever. They could do numbers. Numbers are numbers.
Numbers are numbers.
They can just put whatever number at the end of the 3 dot something.
The important to. The only thing that matters with the numbers is that they said that when 4.0 is when they have pyro and server meshing. That's it. That's the only thing that really matter. 50,000. All right. Next question comes from Crystal King, who asks, "I just think there has been too long since you guys talked about toilet gameplay."
Wow.
If you, I'm gonna put a cap on this. I'm gonna say no. We're not gonna talk a little bit. I'm gonna put a lid on this. I'm gonna put a. I'm gonna. We're
gonna wipe this problem out.
Yeah.
You mean it's been a day since we've talked about it?
Because we will be extensively talking about this next week with HCVertigo and Darj, and I'll make this. It is a special April Fool's Day version of the Captain's Table where we're going to be talking about hygiene gameplay. The entire thing is going to be talking about poop, shaving, showering. That's all we're going to talk about that day. Toiletries, the whole, how it's the most important gameplay of the entire game and how it's very important.
And why on earth are there toilet papers in spaceships? This is what century again? Why is there not a bidet in every single ship?
So effectively, if you want to hear the toilet talk, the potty
but I'm not on that one.
Then you have to come join us for that one.
I will have to play the third co-host.
Yes, we'll see if that can work that out. All right. Del Ener asks, Paul, when journalism gameplay is added to Star Citizen, will the Captain's Table be moved in-game? Kappa, you joke. But I think we'll move the Captain's Table in-game at some point. When the Captain's Table, when FOIP isn't garbage and I can do it in a way that makes sense. So,
also, if they want to look into VR, what do you want to bet? They're looking for full body tracking as well.
Of course,
there is a team that is looking into VR to make sure when they get there, everything lines up.
Sir, this is a Chris Roberts game. I'm sure they're thinking about literally everything that Chris Roberts could possibly think of because Chris Roberts
just Neuralink it straight in. Yeah, just full dive.
Yeah.
But like the thing with your trash panda thing earlier when you're like my stuff. Just imagine standing in a pile of stuff and literally like reaching out. This is all mine.
Mm-hmm.
Q-Pan, are you trying? Okay, so this next question is from Q-Pan. Is this an HCVertigo trigger question? Because I don't think we trigger Vertigo. I don't think we trigger Vertigo as much. So the question is, should the Constellation have a redesigned bathroom for all variants?
They should have a redesign on everything. They should be trashed and restarted. They are the worst RSI ship that has ever been put into concept.
And they're quite literally one of the first RSI ships, period.
That's what makes them so
I think
mad.
the Aurora was like the first one, but Connie.
Yeah, it's like the Aurora and the Connie are the two first ones. So
if you look at the Perseus, the Bengal, the Polaris, the Orion, the Aurora, the Mantis, every other stars or RSI ship is so much better in concept and execution than the stupid Constellation.
Yeah. Yep. Next question, because we still have 22 questions and we've been talking for half an hour. I know it doesn't feel like it's been half an hour, but we're almost 40 minutes now.
Yep.
Why? Crystal King asks, why does my character look so oily? Because you eat too much oily stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
You've been eating hot dogs.
Okay.
Stop
You have the
those
option.
hot dogs.
You have the option to go get the nice, hip sandwiches. But you're going to Whammers and you're eating those stupid hot dogs from every other rest stop you see.
The burritos,
eat healthier, man.
You know, we're not,
eat healthier.
If you want to learn more about torpedo burritos blowing up your toilet, tune in tomorrow. Or tune in next week.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Not enough pizza.
Okay. I'm just going to reject all of these poopy questions. All right, these are very shitty questions, y'all.
All the poopy questions gone. Get out of my questions list.
Come back next week.
Imagine the dev having to do that in Substance Painter or Substance Designer.
Did you not hear on my rant about the sheer millions of dollars that Star Citizen's going to waste on pooping?
And making sure that what you've eaten affects the color and the density.
The poor mocap artist, like the artist who have to deal with it.
A designer, an artist has to sit there and stare at it for weeks.
And Chris Roberts has to prove
that, when you tweak a certain number, it discolors correctly.
Does the lighting artist have to figure out how does light bounce off of poop? Like there's millions of dollars that is going to be put into. You joke about moist eyeballs. Think about diarrhea. Mm-hmm. All right.
And
that's
what happens in your spacesuit?
All right.
What happens when you don't make it?
Let's just move on. Because this is something that's going to happen. This is the entire episode for next week, and it's going to end up being 7 hours because we're going to go into that detail. Target Drone asks, we heard there will be different kinds of loot rarity. Will there be different types of rarities for coffee roasts too? Will be different rarity for coffee roasts. HCVertigo, as the resident Washingtonian, I believe you're the most. You have the most reference to coffee and coffee roasts. I will have this be for you.
Like, oh my god, nobody actually likes Starbucks because nobody buys Starbucks coffee. They buy Starbucks like dessert flavored coffee.
Yeah.
That's what they actually buy from Starbucks. It's they take they take milk, they take sugar, they take chocolate flavoring, and they add just a splash of coffee to that, and you get to pretend you're drinking coffee, but you're not.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do every morning.
And everybody does it every morning. You wonder why America has an obesity problem. Oh man. So I would actually, that's the interesting idea of having like different rarity. Like you find like some rare coffee roast from like manual roast of like coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Like coffee or something. Because you have like a security guard that likes like a really obscure, and you like kind of like remember back when we could loot Radagast and cigars from rec sites, Paul?
Yes.
Imagine you go into a rec site, you find this really rare box of coffee, high-end box of coffee, and you're like, this is worth like 10,000 credits, this one box, because this shit is like really in demand for like over at ArtCorp or Hurston or Crusader or Microtech. Yeah. Anybody would buy this box of coffee from me.
I mean, I've been of the opinion that we're going to have rare booze, like rare alcohol, because that makes sense too. A rare wine.
Radagast has been a thing for a long time.
And Radagast,
Like if they have the amount of time and just the amount of artists and people they need to make it, I think everyone will have their own line of alcohol, own line of coffee, own line of ship paints, armors. There'll be different weapons suited a different way. Obviously, a crop like a corn crop from Terra doesn't look like a corn crop from what is another farming culture. Earth doesn't have any farmlands, so I can't.
You're talking about? Are you talking about Bremen?
Bremen, yes, that one. Yep. So, and then you have your space farmers who are either on moons or in the Endeavor. Like everyone has. Oh no, there's a precedent for that. There'll be different grades of fuel depending on a user's input, which means they can just tweak variants in it to make an entirely different product. So yeah, that's easy for them to do.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they'll have different effects. Like rare coffees might give you more energy than other things or whatever. So
it's always run faster.
Yeah, they have nutritional stuff associated with all the foods, and it'll affect your stats. Like I think they have some of the stuff in there, like some like hydrating, which actually makes it so you don't have to drink so often.
Yes,
if you find a drink or something that has a hydrating buff on it.
If it has the dehydrating buff, it'll actually make your
you go thirstier faster.
So yes, so coffee probably dehydrates you as well. So it'll give you more energy, but lower your hydration. And I believe energy works for sprinting. So you can sprint for a little bit further if you have higher energy, but it may not be connected to anything right now. But that goes into a completely different thing where we're talking because I personally believe that CIG at some point will implement sleep mechanics or tired mechanics. Where
how are they going to do that though?
Logout mechanics. World of Warcraft did this with an XP mechanic.
Yeah, and all MMOs do it with XP mechanics with full rests and stuff like that. So I think they'll do something similar.
But is it just going to be, because it's a fully real-time game, is it going to be like fade to black, fade back, and you're like, you're awake now?
No. Go log out. Just go log out. Like
you think they're going to go as far as saying you should not play the game for the next hour?
Well, no, they'll make it harder to play. They'll do things like make your
right. It's going to be a minor debuff, I think.
Yeah, it'll just debuffs will go up. That's all.
It will turn into the exact same thing that that prison is right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I have X amount of tired on me. I'll just log out for the day.
Yeah.
I'll come back tomorrow and play.
Yeah, so as a way of trying to disincentivize people just grinding like crazy.
I mean, we're going to have disease mechanics in the future.
Yeah. Oh, the plagues!
If you don't log out after an 8-hour day, like your chances of catching a disease may go up.
What happens? And this has probably been seen by somebody. What happens if you make a plague specifically targeted at the Asilians?
What? Why are we talking about plagues with Asilians? We're talking about
the Asilians are a fair chance at protected civilization. If you wipe them out with a plague, there's nothing to protect. The entire universe changes.
What are you on,
you open
Naz?
Up an entire planet.
I am taking the rope. I am lassoing this. I am bringing Naz back into the corral. All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Oh God. TTD for hole stripping or time to dig for. Okay, so it's TTP. It's not TTD.
Time to penis for hole stripping. It's gonna be a speed running any percent. Penis on Starship. First world record holder, kind of like that.
That'll be the first image leaked from Levikati.
Let me put it this way, y'all. Let me put it this way. Because I got to listen to that poor YouTube person who's watching this for some reason. Time to penis is a legitimate term used in all marketing. It's used mostly in gaming, but it's used in other ways. When you ever have a user input into something, how long will it take for a user to go from booting up a software or using an object and turning it and making penises out of it? It's effectively just how long will it take for your user base to completely corrupt the purpose of your entire creativity. How much, and it's designed to as a discussion.
I did that with QPan at Grim Hex with hand flares after they added hand flares to the game. We bought like 100 hand flares at Grim Hex, and I just started throwing them on the ground, and eventually just a penis.
Yeah, but it took you like a half an hour to do all that.
It took me half an hour to do it, but it's there.
Yeah.
We found out we actually found out that the flares burn out after a while. That's what I figured out. The flares burn out. I'm like, the shaft is looking a little dull there.
The first time I did hear it referenced, I believe this was a GDC Need for Speed discussion, I think it was.
Mhm.
It was TTD.
Yeah. Oh, you called it TTD?
It depends on which dev you talk to.
Here's the problem.
Either way.
TTD is a thing in game. It's the
I know. Do you think there was an accident?
I think so. I don't think it was.
I don't. No way. No, I refuse.
Because TTD stands for the Trade and Development Office.
Division.
Yeah, Trade Development Division.
Trade Development Division. Yeah. Thank you. So,
no way that was an accident. No way. No. No.
Who's telling? What do I have to get into chat and figure out what's going on?
Huh? What? Which one?
Someone said at QPen, leave your ship near me, and I'll be putting a dick on it. Okay. What? Let's chat.
I'll be doing it to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, everyone's going to go to prison for it. They'll
get your dick tattoos in prison with a multi-tool. It's gonna be hardcore, Paul.
They will be adding armor.
Penis gang.
Yeah, they will be adding.
This is gonna happen.
I wonder if when they
be
add
tagging
armor...
people's armor with my penis.
Is this the show you wanted, Paul? Is this the show you wanted?
Yeah, Paul. Is this the one you wanted? Zip. I'll show you one, Paul. Zip.
You know what's sad about this? This will not get demonetized, but the most cleanest show that I'll ever run will be an HCVertigo and Buster the Destroyer one, and it'll be instantly demonetized. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with that, but you know.
It knows our voices, Paul.
Yeah.
The AI knows.
High quality broadcasting. You better believe it.
All right, next question comes from Althamon, who asks, Disco mentioned in SCL near the end something special next week. Any guesses?
April Fool's joke.
Yes, it's going to be an April Fool's joke.
That's going to be the Drake Mule.
Didn't he already say... No, he said that in ISC, that it was the April Fool's joke.
Yeah, it's going to be April 1st. April 1st is that Friday, so they'll probably do it a little bit before then if they have it for like Wednesday or something like that. Yeah. So,
just bring back Count Lando. I'll be happy.
Otherman asks, do you think that people who have big fleets are hurting their experience by owning everything? It depends.
Do you think people who own yachts are hurting their experience at life?
But you don't start off with a yacht. Most people don't get born.
Some do.
And instantly have a yacht. Their parents have a yacht, but they don't necessarily do. It depends on it depends on your experience. If you're looking to be the guy who has everything, that's not. Star Citizen's not about collecting ships. Star Citizen is not ship Pokemon. As much as some people think it is ship Pokemon.
They'll try to convince you it is.
But the Star Citizen at its core is a pain simulator.
Come on.
It's designed to waste your time in entertaining ways. In the sense that
there's a word for that.
It's called a game. I get it. You know.
Well, no, a game that you can exist in like that, an entire world built to waste time in. There's a word for it. It's one of the most buzziest words around right now.
Penis. No.
The metaverse.
Oh yeah, the metaverse. Yeah, I was gonna say
it immersion, is. Star Citizen was a metaverse before metaverse was hype.
This was a thing. Yeah. But the point,
and that's what Chris Roberts does. He makes universes to exist in, to steep in.
What's the one that that thing he keeps throwing out there because I think he's just still enslaved by the Origin Games mindset, which was like we create universes,
we create worlds. Yeah,
we create worlds.
You can stop it.
I was like Ultima and Wing Commander.
Yeah, worlds.
I think he keeps going back to Freelancer like every second he gets.
Like remember, he had like very little to do with Freelancer.
Yeah,
but, okay.
it's like Freelancer, but better. He every single time he talks.
So the honest answer is no, because everyone's experience is going to be different. If your whole experience is I got to collect them all the ships, then yeah, but those people are just buying them so they can collect them. Like that's the game. The game for them is buying ships.
Having things.
Yeah, having them. They may not even log into the game. They just want to have the ships.
Yep.
I came to realization that having more ships wasn't going to help me because actually utilizing your large fleet of ships yourself is going to be very, very, very difficult.
Yes.
considering how, like, right now, how the game treats fleets. Trying to move those ships around using the insurance system is kind of a pain in the butt, but trying to move them around with like other people is even more of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I think it will be nearly impossible to move a fleet without NPC workers.
Yeah, NPCs or other or an org or something.
Even if you have an org, the amount of stuff you have to do without just saying all NPC pilots follow lead ship and it just works. I think that logistically it'll be at least way easier to just have NPCs doing a bulk of the fleet work. Because not only you're going to have them fly it, there's also going to have to be a CO on every ship. There's going to have to be engineers, janitors. I'm talking about like javelins and stuff. Javelins, intersize stuff. They will be a very complex thing to have a fleet. Not like 5 prospectors, but a fleet, a cap ship, some fighters, and whatever is your purpose of the fleet.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a thing.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, the Star Citizen, as you pointed out, is a metaverse, and the concept of Chris Roberts' metaverse is there's going to be something in this game for most gamers in some way, shape, or form. There'll be some, as a result, there'll be some things that just won't exist. Like, I know a lot of people want a game that you can just take your space fighter out and go pew, 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 pew. And if that's you, you're Squadron 42, an arena commander, and like Theaters of War.
Is a legitimate way of playing.
It is,
like,
but you're not going to have a lot of, like, there's a lot of things like logistics. Like, yeah, there'll be people who aren't interested in logistics, but they'll have to be part of groups where they can just be like, no talking. I think the meme that Vertigo introduced to me many years ago. I don't know who I am. I don't know why I'm here. All I know is I must kill.
When you skip all the cutscenes in a video game.
Yeah. There'll be people like that, and that they'll need a support structure for people, and people will be like that, who are like, I want to be quartermaster. I want to organize all the boxes so they're perfect. I know exactly where they're going. And so that person walks in, is like, I am here to kill. They just hand them guns, and they're like, go kill things.
Point them in a direction.
Good good luck storming the castle, boys.
That's that's like the entire like premise of like all Halo games.
Yeah.
Cutscene, but it drops you in a place with nobody else but your enemy in front of you.
Exactly. I mean, and that's there'll be ways of playing that, but as a result, for the hit to the heart of the question, I don't think the people who have big fleets are hurting their experience, because that's their experience. If they want to have a different experience, they can just buy a new account and just go from beginning.
I'm not going to tell adults how to spend their money. I will laugh at their misfortune stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell anything. I have almost 3 armies of Warhammer 40K that I've built and painted over the last 3 years. That's a lot of money, but I enjoy doing it. It's a lot of wasted money because it's just me painting, but for somebody else, that's nonsense. That's just waste of cash and time. But for me, it's a hobby. That's what a hobby is. It's a waste of cash and time. Star Citizen is a hobby to some people. So, yeah, only 3 armies, newbie. Yeah, I know. All right. Next question comes from Gin and Tonic. Considering the inevitability of penises being carved into ships, what do you think of CIG getting out in front of it and running a competition to see who can carve the best, most artistic penis?
I mean, I like the idea of CIG getting in front of my penis.
As a pansexual man, I am.
Thank you, Gin and Tonic. This gift. You have given me the gift of joke. Thank you, Gin and Tonic. I could not have done this without you. You are an excellent,
I think
excellent member of this community. A very important pibber, a very pedestrian pisser. I can't even do it right. Paul.
Impressive pisser.
A very.
I think they would have back in the era of Around the Verse.
They won't.
I think
they won't.
I think they're too uppity now.
But I will. When it comes out, I will run a competition for the best artistic penis done in game with the
They won't do it.
They won't do it.
They won't do it. They had a problem with people talking about swimsuits and thongs on the forums. Yeah, they shut that thread down real quick. I mean, maybe we got slavery, we got murder, we got drug use.
Seriously.
We have all these adult themes, but when you start talking about sexy stuff, like just penis, boobs, vagina, butts, thighs, feet, no, that's unacceptable. You can't have any sort of erogenous zones being talked about.
Looping back to our previous conversation, which is why they're uncomfortable about skirts and dresses, because it's too sexual.
Sexual.
Mm-hmm.
It's like why Japan banned ponytails in school, because ponytails mean blowjob, because you can see the back of the girl's neck or something. I don't know
what it is. Yeah, we're getting into some weird stuff, but let's move on to the next. I see like Naz is just standing there with his slack-jawed face, like I don't know what the fuck this is.
No, I just don't understand why
podcast was HCVertigo. Welcome.
I don't understand why CIG is doing it that way. Like, so somebody said like no sexy stuff, typical Americans, but half the execs are European
or European. Yeah. Most of the company is in Europe.
Yeah.
Well,
the part of most of the company's in Europe, but not the part of the company that's calling the shots.
No, he is too right now.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I totally forgot. He moved to the UK.
British, as chat will remind me, and I'm sure someone in the comments will remind me, the UK does not consider themselves Europeans. So we'll just put it that way.
They live on the same continent.
They're an island.
Also,
technically.
Also, all the squadron guys are German, right?
No, British. All of the engine guys are German.
I thought Frankfurt was like the Squadron 42 one, unless they changed that.
It's
Foundry 42 in Frankfurt, Germany.
Yeah,
but Foundry 42 is Frankfurt.
It's Frankfurt and Manchester.
They have another Manchester.
Okay, fine.
It started in Manchester, and then Foundry 42 in Frankfurt.
I'm too deep into Star Citizen. I can't remember what the real world's doing.
Mm-hmm. So let's move on to the next question. Elwalk asks, how much hull can fit into a multi-tool? Did they mention a backpack for salvage?
They just showed it off the GFX graphics. I don't think they've talked about like how is. I think we saw the bigger salvaging tool on the guy's back.
Yeah, that's actually one of the other questions. Did you see the salvaging deck?
That's such a nice tease.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't just a nice tease. It's something they've mentioned multiple times in the monthly reports. They have not only the larger salvage tool working, they also have the larger hand tractor beams working. So they just working and being able to show to players is completely different things. So
yeah, and the backpacks have been announced. They are working on a backpack for
a salvage backpack. Yeah.
I imagine it'll just. I just want like a big like cylinder in the back that just like pops off when it's done.
All right, next question. Ding. Yeah. So I was like a box that just pops out.
It has to be a cylinder. I don't know why. I just want it to be a cylinder.
I want a slab that pops out.
Just thunk.
So like as
I want it to be like one of those 1950s toasters. And just have just two slabs that just pop out of the back. Yeah.
You can still buy
on top of each other.
You can still buy those toasters. I have that toaster. They still make new ones of those. That toaster.
It would be nice.
They're iconic. Those kind of streamlined toasters.
Yeah, it'd be nice if the backpack didn't require you to take off your backpack, set on the ground, replace canister, and then put it back on to keep going. So, I mean, spitting out slabs of semi-solid
of salvage toast.
Yeah, salvage toast. I mean,
I can
either
imagine.
way it does it. Yeah.
I can imagine a giant container, like a giant container that just gets filled up with like liquid, and then like you pull it off, and then whatever. But
yeah, maybe just do it Wall-E style. It's semi-solid and it just pops out the back like a cube.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen for bathroom gameplay.
That's next.
You're going to have like a little hatch that opens up on the back of all the armors, and it's going to pop out a little cube.
Yeah.
I mean.
Next question comes from
space. Mind.
Next question comes from Anno2122, who asks, could we see a salvage deck like the cargo decks from 318 in 318?
Abso-freaking-lutely.
I mean, we're going to have the ability to draw dicks on things, so of course we'll see a salvage dick.
No.
That's enough. That's enough.
That's what your dog said last night.
Okay, so
That's enough. That's enough.
I'm
sorry, Paul.
Instead of an entire deck, it would be a hanger or set of hangers with easy access to the refinery deck.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get a salvage deck. I think more likely we'll get hangers. Even when physicalized cargo comes in, they'll probably add hangers to the cargo deck itself, so you can get a hanger that you go directly to.
I mean,
the
they
cargo
could.
Deck. So
I think it'll be tied to the refinery deck, not the cargo deck.
That's what I mean.
It could be just a different refinery deck, but I think I can see a CIG doing it.
Yeah.
Well, imagine
like having a special elevator that takes you to a place to refine the raw salvaging stuff.
Yeah. Imagine you're an SRV, and you need somewhere to drop the wreck. You drop it at X station in the salvage hangar.
Yeah, and
you just say, "Give me the credits you're going to make from this, or don't keep the wreck. I just need it off my hands."
Fast cart. Okay.
Have you seen that New Zealand commercial for like the deck sealant they had?
Yes, I have seen that. That is
okay.
Funny.
Good. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, but that they definitely knew what they were doing. They did it just very straight. All right. Next question comes from, but no, to answer that question though, I don't think we'd see a deck, but I do think we would see like an actual a new location to go to. I think you would see more likely just a hangar that is connected to those. Steve B. Dancer asks, do you feel that if Quanta increases the price of hydrogen fuel, that selling hydrogen to that location will be more profitable? Yes.
Yeah. Basic economics.
Yeah.
I think they've said that.
Well, it depends on the hydrogen, I think, because with different grades of fuels and whatnot.
Not yet. We're not getting that yet.
But I do think the basics. I think that's what they mean when they said they're going to be tracking commodities, and in the for this first one, which is hydrogen, quantum, and repair. I think that's what they mean by they're tracking those commodities, meaning if you have hydrogen fuel, you can sell it at that station for a certain amount of money and make money.
Yeah, the custom mix is not coming in until the next time they work on refueling, which is not this year.
Yeah. All right. We've got 8 minutes. We have 8 minutes left. We have 8 questions left, and we've been doing this for an hour. So yeah, we're going
more questions.
No. Best guess. Okay. Vertigo, this is for you first. And then we'll move it to the Naz, then myself. Mm-hmm. Best guess, when Pyro and when Nyx?
It's a meme.
Mm-hmm.
When Pyro, when Nyx. I've been telling people the next 2 years for the past 5 years. So I've kind of given up.
Never.
By now, saying
the answer is never.
Whenever CIG gets around to finally putting them in the game, that's when they'll show up.
Naz.
I'm going to work on my wholeheartedness for this. Pyro 318 Q2 2022. Nyx.
Just dig in that hole. Just dig it.
All the way
to center of the earth.
To quarter 3 or 4. I'm not convinced they're as done with Nyx as you think they are.
I will say, I think Pyro is going to take so long to get in that Pyro and Nyx will come in at the same time. And I'll say that the earliest we'll get it is this year, but it's more likely we'll get it beginning of next year, around this time or maybe a little bit later, like middle of next year.
The biggest thing I have against them coming at the same time is the Air and Halo.
The Air and Halo.
Remember what happened to the Air and Halo?
Yeah.
They said, "Hey, we're going to start working on the Air and Halo. Here's our demo that we just put together." Never mind. We're putting all of that on Pyro. The entire location team is now working on Pyro.
Yeah.
And they just said in the monthly report, we're not going to finish Nyx or Levski until that's going to come in. The entire location team is still on Pyro. And they will tell us when that changes. But it will be after Pyro is done.
Except for the Planet Tech team. The Planet Tech team is done with Nyx. And they're done with Pyro.
The Planet Tech team is probably already on the next system already working on it.
Yeah. But the difference between Nyx and Pyro, though, is that Pyro has a lot of new assets they have to be created for Pyro. Whereas the biggest problem with Pyro being things like space stations and Ruin Station doesn't happen with Nyx because Nyx already has Levski, which has already been
Does
done.
it have?
And they've already been updating it. They talk about it all the time. How they're updating Levski, even though Levski's not in the game anymore. So they're still constantly.
Well, they said they do have work to do on Levski specifically that they're not doing.
Yes, but they are.
I imagine they'd have to go through Levski and like update some stuff. But the fact that Delamar and Levski were like it's.
Mm-hmm. That's
they
all they
have the rest of the Nyx system, so it wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah.
Didn't they say they finished the planets for Nyx?
They did. So
most of them are just blasted balls of airless rock. So
and I'm sure they'll change a little bit of that because they did the same thing with Pyro. But they'll what they have to do for Nyx is effectively just put in the outposts and colonies and those little places that you see in Pyro. But that won't take as long because they're doing a lot of the practice and testing now with Pyro. So that's why I say Pyro's issue isn't Pyro. Pyro's issue is server meshing.
Yeah.
So by the time server meshing is in, it could take, as Naz says, it could be tomorrow, it could be next patch, or it could be years. And while that's happening, these teams are still building out the systems. I don't think server meshing coming in. I don't think Pyro is going to be delayed until it's finished. I think when Pyro is ready to when server meshing is ready to go, they're dropping Pyro in, even if it's not fully done. And then just building that up like they've done in the past. So,
do we have any ice giants in game?
Yes, I don't know which ones though, but we do have ice giants.
I'm talking about EV now.
No, we don't have an ice giant.
Okay, so Nyx will be our first ice giant.
Yes.
Mine clean, coreless world, high pressure atmosphere. They already have all the stuff for that. Yeah, they have all the tech they need for. There's no tech in Nyx.
Like there are rivers of lava in Pyro, but there's nothing like that in Nyx. They have cryovolcanoes.
We were supposed to have a lava world, then they retconned that.
Because it became too hard.
There's another system for that.
Yeah. All right. Next question comes from Gin and Tonic, who asks, "Who's going to CitizenCon?"
I'm trying.
For me, it's up in the air. I may not go to CitizenCon this year. I'll definitely go when it comes back to Austin, but I may not go this year just because the cost and the time. I have to take time off of work and I'd have to take time off work if it was in Austin, but if it's in Austin, I don't have to pay for hotels. Mm-hmm. So, and it's I think at best this year, CitizenCon is going to announce Squadron 42's release date, their planned release date. Mm-hmm. I think that's at best we'll see, but everything else will be fairly minor because it's the first CitizenCon since since COVID. So it's in LA this year, by the way, for those who are asking.
Yeah. My biggest problem being predominantly an introvert, going literally to the opposite coast I live on is nerve-wracking. I've never been that far away from home before. So I'm more trying to get the buddy to go with me, which he should be able to, and just the amount of extrovertedness to get on a plane, because I have to go to the other coasts without a person, and only if you are an introvert would you know that you need a beacon, someone there to center you mentally. If you're not an introvert, you don't understand. But if you're in an unfamiliar place without your mental beacon, it is the most stressful thing on the planet, and you will probably just fall into the baggage compartment and die.
My wife is an introvert, so let me put it this way. The way she describes it is, and the best way to describe it is, she has people batteries. She can be around people for only a certain amount of time before her people batteries are drained, and then she just needs to be gone. And even if she's really excited and really enjoys the people she's around, she still drains those people. There are certain people she doesn't consider people who she can be around all the time, like me. But generally speaking, if she's around other people, she's going to try to be nice, but at a certain point, she's just going to be, I can't be here anymore. Yeah. My anxiety's too high. All this stuff, I got to go. So
and if you have different uncharging rates if you're in an unfamiliar place compared to a familiar place. I've never been on a plane. I've never been to California. I've never been past Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So the entire experience will be unfamiliar and alien to me. And so need a beacon, and I need to make sure that that's all in place. But I am trying.
Mm-hmm.
Money-wise, it shouldn't be an issue, barring any catastrophic things happening.
Am I an NPC? No, I'm just not a people to Cam, in the sense that I am not NPC. I am quest giver. PC. I am the to Cam. Everybody else is NPC, and she only has so much NPC batteries that she can run. So, Vertigo, what about you? You think you're gonna go? Yes, no?
Getting there is kind of like the problem for me. Getting the money to actually get there, get a room.
Mm-hmm.
Travel expenses, lodging expenses, food expenses. I could write all that stuff on my taxes, but it hasn't been a very good year for me. Last year wasn't that good, I should say.
Yeah.
So it's not looking like it's going to be yes. Let me put it that way.
And also, me and Tree are planning a special edition live from CitizenCon.
Nice.
If I can get there. So he should be there.
All right. We've got 6 more questions.
In 6 hours.
Minty asked what April 1st is coming up. What meme do you think CIG will rip on? We've already said the Drake
mule.
donkey, the Drake mule. Yeah, it'll be the Drake.
If this was still around the verse era, they'd call it something else.
Yes. The jackass.
Yep.
Target Drone asks, is an episode with Vertigo that only lasts 45 minutes even allowed to be called an episode of the Captain's Table? Or is this more of a mini episode? It's a section of the longer episode.
Mini-sode?
Yeah.
It's a foreplay, not an episode. It's not an episode.
It's an hors d'oeuvre, hors
d'oeuvre. No. Buster taught me a word for this. A moose-bouche.
A moose-bouche, yes.
A moose-bouche.
Yes.
It's a French word for a mouth tickle or something.
Yeah.
It's those little hors d'oeuvres you serve. Essentially, it's like flavors on a spoon. You take a spoon and you dip it in like different sauces and whatnot, and you put them on a plate and give them to your guests as they come over. And it's just you put them in, you suck on the spoon, and it's just like, oh, that's kind of interesting flavors you got there.
Designed to like cleanse the palate and kind of get your palate ready. Yeah.
Fun stuff you can put in your mouth with HCVertigo.
That sounds like a YouTube video.
To throw it back onto you there, HCVertigo, as a pansexual man, I don't mind anything in my mouth. All right. Razorburn88 asks, does anyone see selling fuel to stations outposts as being a thing with dynamic pricing, so we can turn a small profit using a space fuel trucker? If so, thoughts on when? If not 317, then shortly afterwards.
What was it? They CitizenCon 2019. They had like the fans. This was in the before times, before the world ended with COVID. They had the fans vote on concept ships, and most of those concept ships have been delivered. The Grey Cat Rock, the Talon, the Gaddock Relin, which is concept but hasn't been delivered yet, and then they had a fuel refining or a refinery ship that people voted on as well that we have yet to see hide nor hair of.
Yeah, I don't.
The Odyssey refines.
Yeah, that's not the same thing though.
It could be like something smaller than the Starfarer, Connie size. That's a fuel tanker.
They've actually showed off a little sneak peek of it that was not the Odyssey. They said they were going to show off.
I think I saw that on Reddit.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they've done that sort of thing before. Like, we're going to do this thing, and they release a completely different ship, and like, oh no, that was it.
But I mean, I think they're still planning on doing a refinery ship, a player refinery ship. They just, It seems like what happened was that they had this plans to do this player refinery ship because, as Todd Pappy said, they were focused on careers, and then basically the everything shifted away from Star Citizen back to Squadron 42. So all of those things that were having to do with careers have just been sidelined. So I imagine that's part of that career concept that was just pushed away. Because they've even said that the first refining ship is going to be the Starfarer. So, yeah. All right. Galactic Command asks, what would you do if CR gave us all Barbie Jeeps?
We'd probably race them around ArcCorp or something.
We turn them into death machines. How many guns can I slap to this pink?
You drive
pink
them. What do you want?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, as a Star Citizen content creator, when life gives you lemons, you make them you make them into hand grenades.
Yes.
And
that's why we push people out the back of the Starfarer in Greycat Rocks to see how far they can fall before they die.
I assume both of you were here when we had the PTV in ArcCorp, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's
Flaming
the same
death
thing.
Machines. Yes.
Yeah, Flaming Death Machines.
Somebody just
Which is, by the way, the name of my high school band.
But if we got the Barbie Jeeps, like driving around environment like Lear 3, specifically Lear 3 because it has dunes, like not like Daymar has dunes, but dunes. That would be amazing.
For those of you who don't know, fun fact, I forgot the name. It was SAS. There's a special SAS group that drove in World War II that drove around pink Range Rovers.
Tanks and vehicles.
Yeah. The reason why was because I think it was something to do with like they found out that pink camouflages vehicles in sand because of distance. Because they painted like a plane pink for high visibility to test something out, and
they couldn't see it,
and the plane crashed and they couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So
that's great. So Stargate and Javelin makes sense.
Yes, if it's in
Stargate and Javelin.
Yeah, if
we'll never find it.
The Pink Panthers. They actually called themselves the Pink Panthers. Yeah, that was the name of the group. They called themselves the SAS group Pink Panthers. They made specialized Range Rovers that were pink. You know.
So we need a pink skin for the tanks.
Yes,
then we need
Desert
a speaker system. We need a speaker system on the outside of our tanks, like a megaphone, so I can be playing the Pink Panther theme.
Yeah,
just like somebody's like doing some hand mining or something. Just what is it? What does it sound?
Mason points it out. They found a rusted plane wreck that was invisible at distance because of its pinkish color.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
So yeah, so anyone who's shitting on about pink in game, it is literally desert camo. Mm-hmm. Fight me.
Dark Kitten best camo.
I want the naval dazzling camo from like World War II.
Yes,
on some nice ships.
They do.
It wasn't designed to camouflage the ship. It was designed to confuse the viewer on the direction the ship was traveling,
breaking up the silhouette, so it was harder to see exactly which way it was moving.
You couldn't see you couldn't discern the front or the back of the ship, so you didn't know where to aim the guns. Is a ship heading east to west, or is it heading west to east?
And
it was this kind of like
the fun fact is they actually do have dazzle paint. There's only one ship that has dazzle paint though. It's the the add-on you could get for the Perseus. The Perseus is dazzle paint.
Oh yeah,
that makes sense.
I remember that now.
Because the Perseus has got that kind of ship silhouette too, so it's hard. It would be hard to tell the differences between the front and the back sometimes, depending on what you're looking at it. All right, we got the last two questions. Steve B. Dancer asks, "We know that most people disliked it. What do you mean most people disliked it?" Sir,
are we talking about this question? Most people dislike this question?
Most people disliked the Argo meme. Most people loved the meme.
You, sir.
It won Best in Show. I know
Vertigo
didn't like it.
Star Citizen.
Vertigo didn't like it.
I thought there was other ships that could have gotten skins, like the Freelancer. I'm glad the 600i won. The 600i finally got a skin hookup for it. Now we're seeing more 600i skins coming in.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I think
the Freelancer should have gotten a Best in Show skin. As one of my regular members likes to point out, the best ship in the verse, and then as I like to counter with, does it have a Best in Show skin?
Well, obviously the Argo is the best ship in the verse because it has a Best in Show skin. But
the king.
The king, long may he reign.
He's gonna have to reign a really long time without that quantum drive, by the way, because it's gonna take him forever to finish that cargo run.
All I'm going to say is, if we get server meshing in this year, you can thank the Argo cargo for winning the Best in Show, because it is, since it's technically the best ship in the verse. It is the king of Star Citizen. It gave you the development you wanted. So the meme is not bad. All right?
Didn't the Carrack win last year? The year before?
Yeah.
Which means it can use the Carrack. The king can ride on his trusty platform on top of the
toilet. He can ride on the toilet. That is the Carrack.
You can fit Argo in the Carrack hangar.
Oh yeah, you just can't close the hangars. We found out the hard way. You can't close the hangar doors on the Argo. If you don't put the landing gear down, it barely fits. Well, if you put the landing gear down, you better not shut that hangar.
I forget what it's called. The chair carried by servants. But that's what the Carrack is for the Argo.
A lighter. It's called a lighter.
A lighter? Yeah. Lighter, so the Carrack is the lighter for the Argo. Or the MPU VC. Sorry.
The question is, I know most people disliked it, but what will be this year's best in show meme? The Grey Cat
meme.
Grey Cat.
I would love to see the PTUV
we're doing the Grey Cat
get a skin. Right.
PTUV.
Yeah, actually, it did. The PTUV does have variants. Believe it or not,
it does have a few. Yes.
Where
it has red and
they're not on the web store anymore, but they did have different colored variants of the Grey Cat for a little while.
Yeah.
Not to mention, we're still waiting on the battle PTV.
Yeah. The Grey Cat sucks. The SUX, SUX. The extended
SUX 9000.
Yes. Which was a Disco Lando meme. I'll have you point out. That was a Disco Lando meme.
It's a great one. But yeah, we're doing PTV this year, and it's not a meme. It's literally the most economic four-wheeled vehicle we have.
It was built to save lives, all right? The lore of it is it was built to save lives, all right? And it's the most...
Like, there's no better thing to drive on a golf course.
It is the most popular transport vehicle in the UEE. Not even joking. Really? It's used by almost every single person because it's cheap, affordable, easily replaceable.
Same thing as the Argo.
Yeah, and it's
an Argo with wheels.
It's an Argo with wheels, and get people from wherever you need to go. Because
I think on top of that, like what other things are there?
When they originally built it, the people who were building it were taking finished ones and driving it around the warehouse and having fun.
Nice.
Which is how the Grey Cat was like, should this be a mining vehicle or should this be just a general purpose vehicle? And so then it used to have an armored top to it to prevent it from cave-ins. So then they removed the armored top, and that's what became the PTV.
It became a lot cheaper.
Yeah. All right. But I honestly hope, what I really hope with the Best in Show stuff is that they actually break it up into categories. Instead of having just Best in Show, you have a small, medium, large, and capital version. So, or just small, medium, and large. Because that would make it a little bit more sense. Because that's one of the reasons why I was pushing for the Argo to win, was because to prove it to CIG that small ships can win. It's not, we shouldn't ever just be whatever is the best ship, because then the same ship would win every year. The Carrack.
Yeah. The biggest problem with splitting up, especially like given 3 to 5 years of Best in Show, we don't have that many big ships.
Well, but small, medium, large, the large ships you can still throw in like 890 and the Hercules and the
Hammerhead.
The Hammerhead,
does the Carrack go in that one?
The Carrack can go in there, the Reclaimer, the Starfarer, the Caterpillar. Is that a big ship? Those are all big ships. They're huge.
I would put the Starfarer and Caterpillar in medium, but okay.
No, for medium it would be like the
Vanguards and Hurricanes.
And like maybe the Mole at the extreme edge, and like the 600i.
So where would the
Connie, those kind of places would be in medium as well. Medium category.
Okay, so heavy fighters and
freelancer
mercantile ships.
Yeah. And the mining ships and all that kind of stuff. And then the small ships would be like the single-seater fighters and single-seater ships. Because that would work.
And the Reliant.
Yeah.
Because it's a dual-seater small ship.
Yeah, tiny ships. Well, the Super Hornet is also dual-seater. So, anyway, last question. But the point being that I think that would be a better way of doing it, because it would give more people skins for ships that they want. And once you have that, you can have them battle it out for the Best in Show. But then you have, so at least every version or every like level has at least one skin. So
I like that. Maybe the winner, like maybe you have each of the top ones, then go head to head, and the king gets 2.
Yeah, or they already have, like they have the special added add-ons and stuff like that. Mason, Last question. Mason asks, can you see the Liberator with its tractor beam functioning as a flatbed wrecker?
Yeah.
Hauling around like salvage and stuff? Yeah. Or like salvage ships, like busted ships.
What do you call it? A low boy dovetail trailer.
Yeah.
Which is what we used for like moving equipment around back when I was a mechanic. Stuff that couldn't go over the highway.
There's a ship that directly competes in that exact premise.
The Argo SRV.
Yeah. But
would be one
Crucible.
of them.
Oh, the Crucible too.
Crucible. Oh yeah, well the Crucible is not nearly as big as the Liberator.
The Liberator is much bigger.
It can
correctly.
fit.
It can hold a Hornet.
The size. Yeah, it can fit one of the two small pads. But for what it does, it should be more efficient at doing that.
Yeah. But I mean, the question is more, can you see it being that? I'm like, yeah, because the Liberator is kind of a jack of all trades ship. You could do it, but I mean, the Liberator has a little bit more space to it. It's got more cargo room. It has more easily accessible. There's a lot more things you can work with a Liberator. Kind of like the Kraken. It's a combat carrier, but it can do pretty much anything. It could be the head of a mining group, because it's just a place that has repairs and refueling, but also has space for putting raw ore in like cargo bags. The Liberator is like that, but smaller.
I think those are like always the questions that, like, of course you can. It's Star Citizen. We have weapon versions of everything. Yeah. You could do it in an Aurora. It doesn't really matter. Anything can become anything if you try hard enough.
Yep. Well, that was the last question. Thank you all for joining us here tonight at the Astropub at Captain's Table. Almost an hour and 30 minutes in. I think that's been what we've been doing recently. We've been doing about 45, 50 minutes for the actual episode and about an hour and a half for the question and answer sessions. So thank you all for joining us. Make sure you are following HCVertigo on his Twitch, twitch.tv/HCVertigo, and on YouTube under HCVertigo. Make sure you're following Naz and Nazeris YT on Twitch and Nazeris on YouTube. Just Nazeris on YouTube. And make sure you catch.
I tried to get both Nazeris on both, but somebody has the Nazeris on Twitch, and I couldn't get it.
But make sure you're catching the Pathfinders podcast on live on every other Monday. It's the Monday after the roundup, which would be next Monday. This coming Monday? No, it's the next Monday, not the coming Monday.
Yeah,
it's the first Monday in April. The first Monday in April will be the next one.
Yeah, not the 28th, but the 4th we'll have one, because the 30th the update comes out. Yeah.
So go join them, and of course, if you want to watch this live and ask your own questions live, every Saturday 6 p.m. or 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. GMT. Come join us and hang out here at twitch.tv/theastropub. Thank you again. Make sure you, for those of you on YouTube, if you enjoyed this, like the video. It does actually help tell YouTube that they like this. Leave a comment or leave a rating.
Engagement for the engagement god.
Exactly. Engagement tells the artificial intelligence robots that run all of our lives that this was a good content, and they want to, and it'll promote that content more, so more people will watch it, and maybe more people will enjoy it. So if you really enjoyed this, that's the best way you can do it. And of course, leave your comments down below, your own comments, your own questions about all these sorts of things. And I know Vertigo will come by, and Naz will come by, and I definitely go by and read those questions and kind of react to them. So we'll like to engage with y'all as well. So thank you for doing that as well. Like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.